Hi everybody, Ellen here. Today I come to you guys with my September wrap up. It's a little bit overdue, but I think it's gonna be alright. So I ended up reading quite good, I'd say. I ended up reading, depending on how you say it, 15 books. If you count every manga individually instead of the kind of collections of that I've bought, it's technically 18. So I mean, it's a lot. I'm pretty darn happy with it because this is where I used to be before I started working full-time. So let's talk about some awesome books. So the very last book I finished for the month, because well, I finished it the last night of September, was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It's called in English, but I read it in Swedish. It's actually Harry Potter och De Vises Sten. This is the illustrated edition by Jim Kay, and of course it's written by J.K. Rowling. This was a reread because, well, the illustrated edition for The Goblet of Fire comes out in October, and I'm really behind on my reread of these, but I do want to read all of them before moving on to the fourth one. But as always, this was really lovely story. I love Harry Potter so much, as you know, and I do love Jim Kay's illustrations so much, and it gives such life to the story. So obviously I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. And then I read Äventyren på Hildasholm Malum by Hanna Blixt. These three friends, this is a middle grade book. We meet Maja, Svante and Ludde, and they're trying to protect the world from Malum, which is sort of this evil kind of darkness that is going around Sweden, and people are sort of being taken over by this evil force when they're using different technical devices like their computers or their phones and stuff like that, and their sort of life are just sucked out of them when they use these different devices, and they have to come up with a way to stop this evil force. And I really enjoyed it. As always, she's really good at writing friendships and sort of adventures. I ended up giving this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. And I also read Slutet by Mats Stamberg. This is sort of an apocalypse kind of thing. They find out that in a month the Earth is going to, you know, just get destroyed by this big ass freaking comet. And we start reading this book when it's 1 month left. People on Earth kind of finds out a little bit sooner, but we start from 1 month, and it's just sort of a story about who you want to spend your last time with and what you're going to do with the time you have left and stuff like that. The book definitely took some unsuspected turns, and I really enjoyed it. I love Mats Strandberg's writing, and he writes really great characters, and just so many twists and turns, and you just can't predict what the hell's going to happen. And it was just so freaking good, and I'm not really sure about the rating. I did give it 4.5 out of 5 stars, but I don't know, it might be a 5 stars. I don't know, but right now it's 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was really good. Speaking of one of the manga collections I read, this is Death Note, the Black edition by Tsugumi Uba and Takeshi Obata. Since this is the Black edition, it actually contains volumes 1 and 2 of the series. And I love the art style so much. But this one is about Light Yagami. He is a student, really great in school and everything like that, but one day he actually finds this Death Note lying on the ground, and when he finds the Death Note, that means he sort of gets power over other people's lives, because if you write someone's name down in the Death Note, they will actually, you know, die in the exact time, place and way as he writes it down. And this was so freaking good. I haven't read a lot of mangas in my life. I loved it so much. It was so good, and I just flew through this, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I also read Orange, the complete collection 1 by Ichigo Takano, and this actually contains the first 3 volumes of the story, so technically, you know, 3. But in this one we meet Nahu, and she's in grade 11, and she actually gets this letter from herself from the future, and it pretty much tells her what's going to happen the coming months and what she should do to change it, to be able to change the outcome of their lives. And it's so like sad and emotional, and still I just love the friendship in this book, and it's just a lot of shit happening, and you kind of know where it's going, but I don't know, I really like it. liked it a lot, and I'm really looking forward to reading the next installment in the series. And then I ended up giving this 4.5 out of 5 stars. I also read A Grim Warning by Chris Colfer. This is the third book in the Land of Stories. This is one of the series I'm trying to finish, and this is a middle grade book that I love so much. It's just such a cozy, like, fairy tale kind of read. So in this one we meet Alex and Connor, and they actually, well, in the first book, get this sort of fairy tale book, and they get sucked into it, and they end up in the Land of Stories. And when they're there, they meet different fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood, Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty, and everybody like that. And they have to save the world, literally the world, from different kind of shit. And it's so good, and I just love this series so much, and I'm happy to be finally continuing on with it. And then I read some more manga, because why not? You cannot quit when you're ahead. So I actually ended up reading 2 mangas in the same series. So we have The Promised Neverland by, I'm probably gonna butcher this so bad, Kaio Shirai and Putsuka Demitsu, and this is volume 1 and volume 2. I really like the covers. And we meet Emma, Norman and Ray, and they are the smartest kids in this sort of orphanage, and every day they have to do different tests and stuff like that, and find out, you know, how good they are. But they find out that maybe stuff isn't as they thought they were, and there's some dark ass shit going on. And so far I read 2 volumes in this series, and I'm really enjoying it so far. And it's definitely, it looks very cutesy and stuff, but it's definitely a lot darker than you thought it would be. But I'm really enjoying it. I actually ended up giving both of these volumes 4.5 out of 5 stars. And then I also read The Warrior Heir by Cinda Williams-Sharma. And in this one we meet Jack, and all of his life is sort of known that he has had this heart problem, which is why he's taking different medications for it and stuff like that. But one day he actually forgets to use his medication, and shit happens, and it turns out that he is Wereland, and that he is part of like magical kind of people, and that he is a warrior, and shit goes down. So admittedly I had a little bit of trouble to get into the story. I didn't really like connect as much as I wanted to with the characters and stuff like that, but it was still somewhat of a quick read, and there were some aspects that I did enjoy, and then there were some aspects that I just thought, well, like dragging it out way too much. So I don't really know if I'm going to continue on with the series or not. Right now leaning towards kind of not, but let me know down below what you think about this series. I gave this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. Now we have a graphic novel. So this is The Witch Boy by Molly Knox Ostertag, and in this one we meet Aster, and his family is just sort of magical all the way through. So in his family the girls actually get magical powers because they are witches, and the guys are supposed to become shapeshifters when they're old enough. But the thing is that Aster has always wanted to learn magic. He wants to be a witch so bad, but since he is a guy he's supposed to learn how to be a shapeshifter, and he just tries to learn magic like kind of on his own, like sneaking into the girls' lessons and stuff like that. So it was really cute. I really like the art style, and there's like a library and stuff. But I really like the art style. I really like the characters. There's definitely some plot twists in here, and I just really like the fact, you know, there's sort of different expectations on girls and boys, and I really liked how it was addressed. There's 2 more volumes out, or there's this 3rd one is supposed to come out later this year or something like that. I don't know. I've already ordered the 2nd volume because I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, this book, graphic novel, 4 out of 5 stars. And then we have a book I started so long ago, but this is The Kiss of Deception by Mary A. Pearson. This is the first book in the Remnant Chronicles. I think I've said in a couple of different videos or reading vlogs or whatever that I've started this book like 3 times and just put it down because I've been, you know, wanting to pick up something else at the time. But this time it was on my TBR and I freaking finished it. Yes. But this one we meet Leah. She's 17 years old and she is supposed to get married, and not because she actually wants to, but only to be able to start this sort of truce between her country and a different one, and she does not want to get married because she's 17 years old and she just wants to live life. So she actually ends up escaping, and then they send one assassin, and actually the prince goes after her, and the thing is that you kind of don't know who is who. And just let you tell that the fact that I didn't know who was the assassin and who was the prince really freaking annoyed me. Like, I really wanted to know, and I thought that I did know, but it turns out I was wrong, and that just annoyed me even more. But yeah, it was definitely a different kind of read. It felt like it was not very eventful. It was more of a kind of like a character-based story, at least the first book was. So I'm hoping there will be more like action in the second one. But I do own this second and the third book in the trilogy, so hopefully I will like them enough that I feel like I'm going to continue reading it, because this is one of the series I'm planning to finish this year. So hopefully I will do that. But I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. And then another book that was on my TBR was Prince Charming by Rachel Hawkins. This book was previously named Royals. And this is the first book in a companion duology. And in this one we meet Daisy, and her life is turned upside down when she finds out that her older sister is getting engaged to the Prince of Scotland. Obviously, they've been dating for a few years, so that's not really surprising. But they're getting married, and Daisy's life is turned upside down because the tabloids are suddenly taking an interest in her, and they want to find out who the hell she is and what she does and what she looks like, and she's not left alone. So she ends up having to go to Scotland together with her sister, live in the castle, and find out like how to act more like the royals do. And it's really cute, it's really funny, and there's definitely like shit happening in this book. I really did enjoy it. It was a quick read, definitely not like a new favorite or anything, but it was definitely enjoyable, and I really do look forward to reading the second book in October. But yeah, I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. I should have finished in August. Was The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. This is the first book in, I want to say a trilogy, but I'm not sure. And in this one we meet Esta, and she's a very talented thief, but she ends up going on this sort of a treasure hunt that she's not expecting. So she ends up traveling back in time to steal this book to be able to stop the Lost Magician. And shit doesn't really go as she expected. She meets some people, she gets into a lot of trouble, and shit goes down. So I've heard great things about this book, and I was really looking forward to reading it because I've had it for a long time. But I was just not really invested in the story. I wasn't really attached to the characters, and I just, in the end, I just couldn't be bothered anymore. So which is technically the reason I didn't finish it in August, because I was just reading it so slowly because I wasn't feeling it completely. Saying that, there was definitely some really good aspects as well. I mean, it was really interesting premise, and there were some action parts, so to speak. But yeah, I ended up giving this 3.5 out of 5 stars. We're not done yet, because I also finished 2 audiobooks, which were chunky as hell, but I freaking finished them. So we have The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. This is the, I think it was 4th book, right, in the Wheel of Time series. And let's just say, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm trying to finish all of Brandon Sanderson's books, which means that I have to read through all of the Wheel of Time books until I get to the last 3 books which he has written. And I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, because if it wasn't for that freaking challenge, I would probably have put down this series after the first book. I mean, I really enjoyed the first book, but at this point it just drags on, and I feel like it's just the same thing over and over again, and I don't have the energy to care that much anymore. But at the same time, it's not bad or anything, and it's not boring. It just is. I can't really put my words on it. But I ended up giving this 3 out of 5 stars, which is pretty much where all of the books have been, except the first one, I believe. And then also finished The Fires of Heaven by Robert Jordan, which is the 5th book in the Wheel of Time series, and pretty much the same thoughts as the 4th one. And I'm just really tired of this love freaking square. I mean, what the hell is that about? Just get 2 people, make them like each other. You don't need 4 people. It's too much, okay? So I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars as well, and I'm not having the best time with it, but I can understand why people do enjoy it a lot. It just is not for me anymore. I think those were all of the books I read, 15 or 18 depending on how you want to count it. But I'm just really happy for the fact that I finished my entire TBR. I read all of the 5 books that I said I would, which is the first time ever, but I'm gonna make this, you know, a regular thing, so hopefully it will be. Yeah, if you have read any of these books, please let me know down below what you thought about them, without spoiling of course. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give me some thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the little button down below. And yeah, I hope we see each other in the next one. Bye!